I'm just recording this on my phone because everything's packed away on the super bike today. And we are just heading to our second destination now, Balgue, which is about 40 to 45 minutes away. I stopped here specifically because you get a view of the volcano that's here. And interestingly enough, you actually have to cross the airport landing strip in order to continue the drive. So there's the large volcano here on the island. And this is the actual landing strip as well. So we're heading this way to Balgue. So let's get going. Good morning from another day here in Jurassic Park. I mean Ometepe. This place feels like Jurassic Park when you drive around. So today I've got the scooter with me, obviously, and I'm gonna go get some breakfast. And we're gonna go for a drive around. I'm down here now in Balgue, sort of on the southern island, on the east coast of it, and I thought today would be kind of fun. It's a beautiful day out, so let's go for a drive, and I'll show you why I think this place is probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. It is hot, but a beautiful day here on the island of Ometepe, and I just stopped here at the Butterfly Comedor for some wonderful breakfast. I get some pictures here I'll put on the screen as I'm talking. And yeah, it was really good, really cute place, and they had some really cute animals, cats and a puppy and all that kind of stuff. So if you're on this part of Ometepe, I would highly recommend coming here for a breakfast. It was well priced and delicious. So let's go for a little drive and check out the coast. So when you come to this part of the island, there's this paved ring road that follows around the whole island, which is fantastic. It's easy to get around. I use this to get all the way over here from Moyogalpa to Balgue. And there's actually a split in the road here, a fork. So it makes it super simple. If you're coming over here and you're going to either Balgue or Merida, you can go left or right here and they'll take you to each town. And this road continues up to Merida. It's only another 15 or 20 minutes, I believe, from here to Merida, and at this fork, Balgue is only 5 minutes away. So we're gonna go for a little drive down this way, down along the water, and I think there's some nice views there too, because you kind of get up on top of a hill a little bit. And I'm not going to film while I'm driving because I don't trust myself enough to do that. I like to be able to keep focus on the road while I'm driving, so we'll film once we arrive. So I just stopped here for a minute. This is Playa Primavera. We're sort of kind of back on the first island a little bit. There's that little peninsula that kind of runs between them. We're just on sort of one side of that. And it's a beautiful public beach here. And you can see there's some people out in the water here. And there's some partying going on down there. This lake is so big that you can't even see the mainland over that way. And from my perspective, where I'm standing, I'd be basically looking at where roughly, not quite where Rivas is, I suppose, but I'd be looking at the west coast sort of that lake. So as I mentioned earlier, the lake itself is Lake Nicaragua officially. Its original name is Lake Cocibolca, which is the traditional name for the lake itself. And it is absolutely beautiful. You can see here off in the distance as well as I walk this way, one of the two main volcanoes that are here on the island. Volcano Madeiras on the smaller island, which is near Balgue, which is where I'm staying the last couple nights. And it is a dormant volcano. Of the two that are here, this is the smaller and dormant one. But you can see I've been waiting for a couple days now for the top of that volcano to kind of clear up, but it's had this continuous sort of own cloud system to it. So the other major volcano here is Volcano Concepcion. That is on the larger of the two halves of this island. It is a very active volcano as well, recently having erupted last year in 2024, and continues every so often to remind people that it is still very much an active place. When I was coming over here, I also noticed this appears to be a smaller third volcano starting to form in the middle. And I think they were just calling it Little Concepcion for now. But what an absolute beauty of a place. This is easy to get to as well. If you're driving along the sort of main ring road, there's a big sign there that says Playa Primavera. You can just turn off there and it's all paved all the way right down to the beach here. Park your scooter or your quad or your car and come down and hang out at the beach for the day. So let's head back up and make our next stop, which is at a higher vantage point where we can oversee more of the island. So one of the best views, I would argue, here on the island is here at the Mirador of the volcanoes. There's a nice little restaurant here, so if you do drop by here, make sure you support them by picking something up. I just ordered a nice fresh pineapple juice, and yeah, it is quite the place. Again, for reference, so we were just sort of just down over here along this beach a little bit, and here is again the smaller of the two. This is Volcano Madeiras, and if you look over this way across the street, also covered in cloud, is Concepcion. But this place here is sort of at the peak height between the two volcanoes, and it's a great place to come, and you know, you can watch the lake here, the volcanoes, you can get a nice cold drink at the restaurant and just enjoy the day. I mean, this is a beautiful spot. One of the things people are probably going to ask is, why go to Ometepe? And a lot of people come here for volcano hiking, of course, because there are two here to choose from, and I believe the bigger of the two, Concepcion, is about a 6 to 8 hour hike up, and because it's active, of course, you get to see down into the caldera, and you can see the lava and stuff inside, but it's a long hike. So for me, I came here because I wanted to have a little bit of experience with island life here in Nicaragua, and Ometepe is on every backpacker's list if you're coming through this country, and it's easy to see why. This place is full of hostels, hotels, resorts, and everything in between, and it's a beautiful spot to come and just kind of like forget about the rest of the world, quite honestly. You know, you can come here, and I've talked to people who haven't left this island in many, many years, who have just been living here, you know, away from the rest of the world, and you can almost see why it'd be easy to come here and kind of get lost in it. Kind of looks like Jurassic Park, doesn't it, a little bit? Anyway, I'm gonna go get my drink, which I think is ready, and then after I finish that, we will head on to our next stop. Here's just another shot of Concepcion volcano, sort of through the trees here a little bit. So this is the, as I said earlier, the bigger of the two and the active of the two. That is the same volcano that's on the island where Moyogalpa is located, and the other towns, and it is very much the predominant thing you see wherever you go on the main island, in every direction, no matter what side you're standing on, because it's so big and takes up so much of the island. It just towers over everything. Anyway, this was the Mirador Los Volcanes. Had a nice, again, little restaurant and stuff there. I had some very delicious fresh pineapple juice, and it was only 70 Cordoba, I think. So that's like less than $2. And it was a nice tall glass, freshly made on the spot. Let's hop back on our trusty steed and continue on our way. So my last little stop here is Balgue Point, and it's just this little inlet sort of here on the side of the lake. Beautiful little spot here. Surprisingly rough, I have to say, at this lake too. I was I know it's a very large open body of water, but I've been really surprised by just how big the waves get here, even up here along the shore and stuff. But what a beautiful little town, a great place to come if you want to just, like I said before, get away from everything. One thing of note, I suppose, or worth noting, is that if you do come here and you have a scooter like I do, there are no gas stations on the island except for one over in Moyogalpa. And so what you typically have to do is find a local who has some gasoline for sale in some bottles. So that's what I just finished up doing. Picture of it here, getting it filled. And I'll put them on the map here as well, because they are, I believe, from what I understand and what others have told me, they're a little bit cheaper than the other places in Balgue. So I got basically filled up from, it was just under a quarter tank. So I got about 3/4 of a tank of gas, and it cost me 180 Cordoba, which is about $5 US. Well worth it though, and it'll be good for my next stop here, heading to Merida tomorrow. It's only a 20-minute drive or so, but then after Merida, I have about a 45-minute drive back to the city of Moyogalpa, where I started. Anyway, we're gonna head back. I'm gonna show you a little room review of the place I stayed at here in Balgue, and give you some thoughts on my experience here on the island so far. So I thought I'd give you a quick show of where I stayed here in Balgue for the last couple nights. It was a place that was both good and, I would say, frustrating at times. Not so much because of the place necessarily, but the utilities here can be a struggle sometimes. We're going on about hour 14 or 15 right now without power. Not just here, it's the whole area, possibly even farther across. But I know last night, like, the whole town was out for sure, and continues to be to now. Having said that, this is a place I found on Airbnb. It was actually a brand new listing, so I was, I believe, the first person who has stayed here. You know, it was comfortable, I will say that, and it was private, and I'll show you everything. So I'm just actually standing out here at the moment. This is the balcony, which is exclusive to the unit. So there's a table inside which I've been pulling out and using out here to get some work done, with a really beautiful view here of the surrounding jungle. As you can see, it goes all the way around. There's even a banana tree right there and some mango trees and stuff. There's a very fast Wi-Fi internet here. You can see it's actually just parked right here on that shelf. When I say infrastructure and utilities, that was one of the things. The internet company went down a couple times while I was here, separate to power related issues. But that's not the fault of the place, that's just the utility at large, so just keep that in mind. But other than that, I mean, I had this nice hammock which I tried out, which was very comfortable. And then in here, I'm going to do my best to show it. It is a little dark because of the lack of power at the moment. There was a very nice double bed here. It's very messy at the moment because I just finished kind of getting packed and everything to move on to my next location. This is the table I was talking about. It's a nice wooden table, so I would move that outside. There's a fan here, which has been great for keeping it cool. The mosquito net worked very well, kept all the bugs out. And then in here was the bathroom, and it's a cold shower up on the wall, nice brand new toilet and sink with some shelving and stuff like that for storage. So I would say this place was rustic yet comfortable. If you're looking for a place that, you know, isn't a party hostel or, you know, kind of a bigger space, this one is really nice. It's up off the road. It's actually, if you find Commodore Isabella, is actually at the bottom of the road where I'm staying here, and you just come up the road a couple hundred meters and it's off. There's not even a road to get into here. It's just kind of a path you drive into on your scooter or walk in, and you know, beautiful space, absolutely. If you're looking for something with all the amenities, definitely not the place for you. But for me, I mean, it was great. You know, when I go anywhere, there's usually four things I look for, and they are like a comfortable bed, which this place definitely has, good Wi-Fi, which this place definitely has, a good shower, which this place has, even though it's cold, but the shower itself was really good, and a little bit of privacy or, you know, quiet, and this place definitely has that too. So it does fit all of those categories. But yeah, I would just say that if you're coming to Ometepe and specifically Balgue, I don't know how the rest of the island is faring with power or not this morning. I haven't spoken to anybody yet. But for here, yeah, I mean, it's been 14, 15 hours now without power. So it was a little warm last night without the fan running to kind of circulate the air in here. Thankfully, around 3 a.m., it started to rain here pretty heavily. So that helped kind of cool it off a little bit. But again, now, you know, we're getting into the mid-morning or early morning and it's starting to heat up again. So anyway, that's the review. I'll put the information here on the screen. Again, I found this on Airbnb, and the owner was very responsive. The local hosts that kind of, you know, give you your key and look after stuff, and if you have any questions or whatever, they were also very responsive. So all that was good. You know, I think if the power was on the entire time and the internet was on the entire time, you know, this would definitely be a top recommendation. But I would just say to keep those things in mind and keep the rusticness of the place in mind. So yeah, if you're coming to Ometepe, you'll find that there are lots of different options for places to stay. Lots of different price ranges. Everything, I found a lot of places here were, you know, $40, $50, $60 a night or more. Which is outside my budget for sure. I mean, if you're here on a shorter term, like for a week or something, and that's your whole trip, well, then that's one thing. But doing ongoing, continuous travel, you know, you're always trying to find the best deals. And this place ended up being like $16 a night, US, which is pretty good in my opinion. You know, again, you get a private bathroom, you get nice strong Wi-Fi, you get a quiet space to yourself with that really nice patio that's out there. So, you know, I think that there are some things that they mentioned that they are improving or adding to the space going forward, which can only make it better. So I'm only 2 or 3 minutes outside town and we're stuck in a bit of a traffic jam here. They're doing a bunch of tree clearing, I suspect related to the power outage last night. So we're just waiting for it to clear out a bit. But I think we're going to be able to go soon and keep on going. We're just heading out from here from Balgue and heading over to Merida, and it's only a short trip, maybe 20 minutes or so. And, we'll be on our way in a minute. I've got my camera kind of rigged up here a little bit on the bike so I can actually do a bit of filming while I drive. Hands free on the camera, of course. And yeah, what a beautiful spot here though to just drive through and enjoy the nature. Anyway, we'll get going here in a minute.